Patrick Mahomes has reportedly leaked moments from Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift's wedding, and some of the footage has left fans stunned. From behind-the-scenes celebrations to moments nobody expected to see, the footage are raising plenty of questions. Let's get into it. The photos Patrick Mahomes shared. On July 3, 2026, Taylor Swift married Travis Kelce inside Madison Square Garden in New York City. It was one of the most guarded events of the year, with roughly 1,000 guests and a wall of security around the building. Patrick Mahomes and his wife Brittany were on that guest list. They came as friends and as part of the Kansas City Chiefs family, the same group Kelce has played beside for years. The Mahomes and Kelce bond is one of the most documented friendships in sports. The two have won Super Bowls together, hosted each other, and turned up in each other's lives off the field for years. That is the setup that makes the photos land the way they did. This was not a distant acquaintance posting a blurry shot from the back of the room. This was Travis Kelce as quarterback, a man with a real seat at the table, sharing images from a night the public was locked out of. The access was real, the friendship was real, and the photos were real. So the story practically assembled itself. The wedding itself stayed sealed off from the public. Then, a day or two later, that seal seemed to crack, and the person who appeared to crack it was not a stranger, not a hidden camera, and not a staff member. It was the starting quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs. Around July 4th and 5th, Patrick Mahomes posted a carousel of photos on Instagram from the wedding weekend. He did not write a long message. He did not tag the couple in a paragraph of memories. The caption was a single white heart emoji and nothing more. That was it. One symbol and a stack of pictures the rest of the world had not seen. The pictures showed Patrick and Brittany. In one set, they stood together in formal wear, posed near a window, dressed for a night that clearly meant something. Some reports described Brittany in a green one-shoulder dress and Patrick in a chocolate brown suit. Other coverage pointed to a coordinating blue look, with Patrick in navy and Brittany in an ice blue gown. There was also a more casual shot of the two of them from another moment across the weekend. Sources did not fully agree on which outfit belonged to which day, and it was never made clear whether the photos came from the wedding day itself or from the events the night before. The couple in the frame, though, was always the same: Patrick and Brittany, and nobody else's private moment. That detail matters, and we will come back to it. For now, hold on to it. The photos were of him and his wife. The reaction moved fast. Media outlets picked up the post within hours and ran with it. One outlet called the pictures a set of unseen moments from the weekend. Another framed it as a behind-the-scenes glimpse and a rare insight into an event nobody could get near. The words piled up quickly: exclusive, glimpse, inside, reveal, leak. For a wedding this locked down, even a few phone snaps from a guest read like a door swinging open. So the pictures spread. They jumped from Instagram to sports pages to gossip pages to group chats. People who did not watch a single down of football that season were suddenly staring at Patrick Mahomes and Brittany dressed for a wedding they were not invited to. And with every repost, the same question grew louder. If the couple wanted this day kept private, and if guests were told to keep it private, then how did these images get out? And why was Mahomes, of all people, the one holding the phone? The speed of it fed the story. Within a single day, the post moved from a personal share to a talking point to a headline. There is a reason those images set off alarms, and it has very little to do with what Patrick Mahomes actually posted. It has almost everything to do with the wedding those photos escaped from. Because this was not a normal wedding with a normal fence around it. This was a wedding built like a bank vault. Phones were controlled. Guests signed paperwork. Curtains and tarps blocked the windows. The couple did not even confirm they were married until the ceremony was over, and the lights outside the building lit up with the news. In a setting like that, one Instagram post from a trusted friend does not stay small. It becomes a crack in the wall, and a crack in a wall that's strong is going to look like a break-in, whether it was one or not. To understand why Patrick Mahomes' harmless photos felt like a scandal, you first have to understand the fortress they came out of. So before we decide whether he leaked anything, we need to walk inside the most secretive celebrity wedding in years and see exactly how tightly the doors were shut. The wedding built like a vault. Step back and picture the setup, because the setup is the whole story. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce did not want a wedding the world could watch through a keyhole. They wanted a wedding the world could not find at all until they said so, and they came remarkably close to pulling it off. The location alone was a magic trick. They chose Madison Square Garden, a 20,000-seat arena in the middle of Manhattan, one of the most famous and most watched buildings on the planet, and they somehow turned it into a secret. On the day of the ceremony, thick tarps and soft pink curtains were hung to block the sight lines into the building, so that even people standing outside on a busy New York street could not peek in and see what was being built. The most exposed venue imaginable was wrapped up like a gift nobody was allowed to open early. Getting invited was only the first gate. According to the reporting, phone restrictions and non-disclosure agreements were attached to the digital invitations themselves. Read that again, because it is wild. Before a guest could even RSVP, they were essentially agreeing to keep their mouths shut. A no-phone rule ran through the event, so the 1,000 famous faces in that room could not casually film the vows or snap the decor floor and dump it online between courses. A heavy security perimeter sealed the rest. This was a celebrity wedding run with the discipline of a state secret, and everyone who walked in knew the rules before they crossed the threshold. The couple guarded the biggest fact of all right up to the last second. The world did not officially know Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce were married until after they had actually exchanged their vows. Only then did the machine switch on. A press release went out through Swift's longtime publicist, Tree Payne, and billboards near the arena lit up with a single joyful phrase that told the whole city at once: Justin T. married. That was the moment the secret became news, not a leak, a launch. The couple decided the exact second the world was allowed to celebrate with them, and not 1 minute sooner. The guest list was its own kind of spectacle, and it explains why the whole world was pressing its face against those curtains. This was not a small family affair. The reported attendees read like the closing credits of Hollywood. Tom Hanks, Brad Pitt, Bradley Cooper, Steven Spielberg, Selena Gomez, Ed Sheeran, Jennifer Lopez, Reese Witherspoon, Emma Stone, and Hugh Grant, among roughly 1,000 others. Comedians, musicians, news anchors, models, and athletes filled the room. Tom Brady and NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell were reportedly there. So were the Good Morning America trio and half the music industry. When a guest list is that stacked, secrecy becomes both harder and more valuable. Harder, because 1,000 famous people are 1,000 possible leaks. More valuable, because every one of those famous faces is a magnet the public wants to see. The couple were trying to keep a lid on the most star-studded room of the year, and they nearly did. And what was hiding behind all those tarps and curtains? Something worth protecting inside. The arena had been transformed into what guests kept calling a lush secret garden, draped in peach and white, with floral arches, towering trees, and a soft storybook glow. Guests reportedly walked in through a dim hallway marked with a large TT logo, then passed through a photo tunnel lined with never-before-seen images of the couple, stretching all the way back through their lives and their relationship. It was intimate and enormous at the same time. A private garden grown inside one of the loudest rooms in America. The ceremony matched that feeling. Adam Sandler officiated the wedding, which tells you everything about the tone the couple wanted. Warm, funny, and unafraid to be a little silly. There were no traditional bridesmaids or groomsmen. Instead, Taylor's brother Austin Swift stood as her man of honor, while Travis's brother Jason Kelce served as best man, and Jason and Kylie Kelce's daughters reportedly walked as flower girls, scattering petals as Taylor made her way down the aisle. Both the bride and groom wore custom Christian Dior haute couture, and the vows themselves were long, handwritten, and read from little gold books. Guests later described them as real, vulnerable, deeply loving, and funny all at once. Travis reportedly cried. Taylor reportedly sang part of hers. This was not a show put on for the cameras. There were no cameras. This was two people meaning every word in a room full of the people they loved. The people who were there could barely find the words for it. Listen to how the Good Morning America anchors, who attended as guests, tried to describe the mood the next day.
Yes, Stevie Nicks did perform. But it really was intimate, wasn't it, guys?
Even the star power on stage could not overwhelm how personal the night felt. And that is the strange magic of this wedding. It was massive and tiny at the same time.
As intimate as it could possibly be, given it was Madison Square Garden, and really this garden inside the garden.
A garden inside the garden. That single phrase captures what the tarps were protecting. And the guests kept circling back to the same idea for all the fame in that room. It did not feel like a spectacle. It felt like family.
It was just so beautiful. And it's hard to imagine that a place that big and a wedding with such stars could feel so personal and so intimate.
That warmth is the whole reason the secrecy existed. The couple were not hiding something cold and corporate. They were hiding something tender. And they did not want the tenderness turned into content before they were ready.
Because they had their neighbors, their high school friends. It was like any wedding that you would attend.
So now you can see the trap Patrick Mahomes walked into without even trying. When a wedding is wrapped this tightly, when phones are banned and papers are signed and curtains are hung over the windows of an arena, then anything that slips out feels enormous. A single photo becomes contraband. A guest post becomes a break-in. The tighter you lock a door, the louder it sounds when it opens, even if all someone did was crack it an inch to show off their own outfit. That is the atmosphere Mahomes' Instagram post dropped into. So who actually cracked the vault? Because it turns out the loudest name attached to the leaks was not the one doing the leaking. The people who actually cracked the vault. Here is the twist that most of the internet skated right past. While everyone was busy pointing at Patrick Mahomes and his White Hart photo post, a completely different set of people were quietly, or not so quietly, opening the real doors. These were the leaks that mattered. These were the images and details the couple genuinely did not want out. And Mahomes was not the one behind them. Start with the biggest one. Adam Aron, the chief executive of AMC, the movie theater giant, was a guest at the wedding. And Aron did something Mahomes never did. He posted a detailed description of the inside of the wedding, then deleted it hours hours later. While it was up though, people read it, saved it, and passed it around. In it, Aaron described the whole scene, everything draped in peach and white, huge blown up photographs of Taylor and Travis at every age going back to when they were babies, and an actual garden built inside the arena with real flowers, artificial trees, and rows of chairs. This was not an outfit selfie. This was a room-by-room tour of the exact interior the couple had spent a fortune hiding behind tarps. And several outlets noted that in posting it, Aaron appeared to have broken the non-disclosure agreement attached to the invitation. The reaction split people down the middle, some fascinated, some furious on the couple's behalf. That is the precise content the non-disclosure agreements were designed to keep offline. And the fact that he deleted it hours later only underlines the point. You do not scrub a harmless post in a panic. You scrub the one that crossed the line. The delete button was a confession. It told you that even Aaron, in the moment, realized he had shown something he was not supposed to show. He was not alone. The very first look inside the wedding, the images fans had been starving for, came from a couple close to Taylor and Travis in a completely different way. Rob and Joanne Jordan, the couple's personal trainer and his wife, posted the first glimpse from inside the wedding on Instagram. Think about what that means. The photos that broke the seal, the ones that gave the public its earliest peek past the curtains, did not come from a rival, a stranger, or a sneaky staffer. They came from trusted people inside the couple's inner circle, the folks who helped keep them in shape, sharing a moment they were proud to be part of. Those were the images that actually spread first as the inside of the wedding, and they arrived before the conversation about Mahomes even fully caught fire. Then came the pile-on of smaller reveals, each one a little crack of its own. Music video director Joseph Kahn, a longtime Taylor Swift collaborator, also posted a photo from the wedding, and the singer Maren Morris added one of the most charming leaks of the whole night. Morris shared a photo of a monogrammed handkerchief that had been given to guests, printed with a lyric from Swift's own song Blank Space, a little keepsake meant for emotional moments during those long, tearful vows. It was sweet, it was harmless in spirit, and it was still technically a piece of the private wedding making its way into public view without the couple pressing the button. Look at that handkerchief moment for a second, because it captures the whole confusion perfectly. What Maren Morris shared was a genuine piece of the wedding's inner design, a custom gift printed with the couple's own lyric, handed out to guests as part of the ceremony's most private, tearful stretch. That is a real detail from inside the sealed event, and yet it landed as charming rather than scandalous, because it came from a beloved singer, and because the internet had already decided who the villain of this story was supposed to be. Now stack the whole list up and rank it honestly, from the inside out. At the top, the CEO who described the secret interior and deleted it in a panic. Below him, the trainers who published the very first look inside. Below them, a director and a singer who each shared their own protected pieces, one a photo from within the room, the other a custom keepsake tied to the vows. Every single one of those exposed something the couple had guarded. And then, far down at the bottom of that list, sits Patrick Mahomes holding two photos of himself and his wife by a window and a caption made of one white heart. He is not the headliner of this leak story. He is the footnote. The problem is that footnotes do not sell headlines, and the most famous man in the room does. Now line these up next to what Mahomes actually did, and the contrast becomes almost funny. Adam Aaron described the entire secret interior, the blown-up baby photos, the garden, the peach and white world the couple hid on purpose, and then scrubbed it in fear. The Jordans posted the actual first look inside. Joseph Kahn added a shot from within the sealed room. Maren Morris revealed a personal gift printed with a private lyric. Every one of those crossed in some real way into the parts of the wedding the couple were guarding. Still, even the real leaks do not fully explain why this wedding became a non-stop headline machine, or why leak stories about it caught fire so easily. Because underneath the photos and the deleted posts, there was a second storm brewing. This wedding was not just a secret. It was a battlefield of who got invited, who got left out, and who was quietly at war. And that drama is exactly why every stray photo, including Mahomes' innocent one, got treated like a smoking gun. The drama that turned every photo into a weapon. To understand why the world was so hungry for anything that leaked out of this wedding, you have to understand what was happening on the guest list, because the story of who was inside Madison Square Garden that night is only half of it. The louder story in some corners was about who was not. The biggest absence belonged to one of the most famous friendships in celebrity culture, Taylor Swift and Blake Lively. For over a decade, these two were as close as it gets. Swift is godmother to Lively and Ryan Reynolds' children. The two families vacationed together, showed up at each other's events, and shared the kind of trust that only comes from years of real friendship. So when Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds were absent from both the rehearsal and the wedding itself, it did not read as a scheduling conflict. It read as a statement, and the reporting made it sound exactly that way.
Taylor Swift left Blake Lively off her wedding guest list, and a source tells us in the new issue that Blake understands why she's not invited.
Understands why. That phrase does a lot of work, because it tells you this was not a mix-up, it was a decision, and both sides seem to know the reason.
And that it would be a media frenzy. We hear that Blake has no hard feelings and would have of course loved to be there to support Taylor and Travis.
A media frenzy, even Blake reportedly understood that her presence alone would have turned the wedding into a circus. And the root of that frenzy traces back to a courtroom, not a personal fight between the two women.
Taylor resented being subpoenaed as a witness, and her text messages between her and Blake went public during Blake's case against Justin Baldoni.
That is the real fracture point, and it deserves the full picture. In December 2024, Blake Lively sued her director and co-star Justin Baldoni over her film It Ends With Us, accusing him of harassment and of running a smear campaign against her. Baldoni denied everything and countersued. Important framing here, these were allegations and a court later dismissed most of them, so the onset claims stay firmly in alleged territory. Swift had almost nothing to do with the movie itself, beyond licensing a song, but she got pulled into the legal war sideways anyway. In May 2025, Swift was subpoenaed as a witness. The subpoena was later withdrawn after the court criticized it, and a bid to depose her was shut down that September. But the damage was already unfolding. A judge ruled that Lively had to hand over her private text messages with Swift, and when those filings surfaced, messages neither woman ever meant for the public came spilling out. The two had spoken candidly to each other, the way best friends do when they think no one is listening. Suddenly, those private words were court exhibits, splashed across the internet for everyone to dissect. And the content of those texts was intimate in the way only real friendship is. In the unsealed exchanges, Lively had reportedly called Swift one of her dragons and described her as the kind of best friend who thinks about things like the Roman Empire. Swift, for her part, had reportedly used blunt, unguarded language about the whole situation, mocking the drama with a tiny violin jab and referring to the director dismissively. None of it was scandalous on its own. It was just honest, the private shorthand of two women who trusted each other completely. But honesty written in confidence reads very differently when it is stapled to a lawsuit and handed to the press. By the time of the wedding, the legal war itself was actually over, which makes the frozen friendship even more striking. In April 2026, a judge dismissed most of Lively's claims against Baldoni, including the harassment claim, largely on technical and jurisdictional grounds. In May 2026, Lively settled the remaining claims with no money changing hands. And by June 2026, the terms were made public, with all sides agreeing to walk away from further litigation. Both camps declared victory and moved on. The lawsuit had a resolution. The friendship did not. The courtroom closed its books, but Swift and Lively never got their own ending. No public reconciliation, no confirmed phone call, nothing but silence carried into a wedding weekend. And when the wedding came, that silence became visible for the whole world to see. While Swift and Kelce were saying their vows in Manhattan, Lively and Reynolds were photographed hundreds of miles away at their daughter Betty's horse show in Lake Placid. Fans found it especially striking given that Swift is godmother to Lively's kids, and the drama had a flip side that made it even juicier. On the same night, Blake Lively was frozen out. A very different name reportedly walked back in. Karlie Kloss, once Swift's closest friend, and then, for years, one of her most notable estrangements, reportedly turned up at the wedding with her husband Joshua Kushner. Swift and Kloss had bonded around 2012, back when Swift gushed in interviews about wanting to bake cookies with her, and the two were inseparable through the mid-2010 squad era, the matching outfits, Girl Gang magazine cover version of famous friendship. Then it cooled around 2016 and 2017. Kloss was conspicuously left out of the squad in one of Swift's biggest music videos. The friendship went quiet for years, a silence loaded with all of that history. And yet at this wedding, that ice appeared to thaw. The estranged friend was welcomed back in, husband on her arm, at the most important celebration of Swift's life. Insiders reportedly flagged it as a genuine shock in Swift's orbit, the kind of thaw that surprised even the people close to her. Time, it seemed, had done its slow work. The wound that once looked permanent had healed enough to earn an invitation to the wedding. Fans immediately noticed the contrast and could not let it go. Swift would invite Karlie Kloss, the friend she had barely spoken to in years, but not Blake Lively, the godmother of her own children. So by the time Patrick Mahomes posted his 2 photos and a white heart, the stage was already on fire. This was a wedding people believed was hiding feuds, secrets, and settled scores. Anything that escaped was going to be treated as a reveal, no matter how gentle it actually was. Which brings us, finally, to the question we have been circling this whole time, the one the title asked, and the one we can now answer honestly. Did Patrick Mahomes really leak exclusive moments from Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's wedding, or did he get handed the blame for a crime other people committed? So did Patrick Mahomes actually leak anything? Let's put it all on the table and give the verdict straight, because you have earned it. Patrick Mahomes actually posted photographs of himself and Brittany, a couple by a window, dressed up for a special night, captioned with a single white heart. He did not show the secret garden. He did not describe the vows. He did not publish the couple's private moments or narrate the hidden decor. He shared his own experience of a night he was proud to attend, the same way any guest posts a nice photo from a friend's wedding. The most exclusive thing in his entire post was his own marriage looking good on camera. That is not a leak. That is a guest being happy. Compare that. One more time to the people who genuinely opened the doors. Adam Aaron described the secret interior in detail and then deleted it in what several outlets said appeared to break the NDA. The couple's own trainers posted the first look inside the wedding. A director and a singer each shared their own pieces of the protected event. If you're searching for the people who exposed the parts Swift and Kelce actually tried to hide, those are your names. Mahomes is not on that list, and he never was. The CEO, who actually described the secret interior, is a name most people would not recognize on the street. The couple's trainers who posted the genuine first look are private figures the public had never heard of. The director and the singer are famous, but not football famous, not Super Bowl famous, not the face of a league famous. Mahomes is all of those things. There is one more layer worth sitting with. Mahomes had every opportunity to be a real leaker and chose not to be. He was inside the circle. He was close enough to Kelce to have seen the whole thing. The garden, the vows, the private moments the couple guarded. A person looking to cash in on that access could have posted plenty. Instead, out of everything he witnessed, he shared the single most harmless slice possible, himself and his wife, dressed up, happy, by a window. That is not the behavior of someone spilling secrets. That is the behavior of someone who understood the assignment, respected his friend, and kept the parts that were not his to give. The truth is almost the opposite of the headline. Out of everyone who could have spilled this wedding, Patrick Mahomes may have been one of the most careful. He is close to Travis Kelce. He had the access to reveal plenty if he wanted to. Remember, he is the friend who was there, the teammate who belongs in that inner circle. And with all of that access, what did he choose to share? Himself and his wife, and nothing that belonged to the couple. He kept their secrets while others gave them away. If anything, his post is proof of respect, not proof of a leak. And the wedding those photos came from was never the scandal the internet wanted it to be. Listen, one more time to the people who were actually in the room, describing what it really felt like.
It was their dream wedding, and it really was amazing. Congratulations to both of them.
A dream wedding. Not a crime scene, not a data breach, not a betrayal caught on camera. A couple who deeply love each other, surrounded by people who love them, celebrating in a garden they built inside the most famous arena in the world. The guests did not walk out feeling like they had witnessed a leak. They walked out grateful they had been let in at all.
And on top of congratulations, thank you for inviting us.
Thank you.
That is the tone of everyone who was actually there. Thankful, moved, protective. Not one of them treated the night as something to exploit. And the honest reading of Mahomes' post is that he felt the exact same way. And that reframes the whole story, doesn't it? The headline wants you to picture a betrayal, a friend who got let inside and then sold the secrets for attention. But the reality is the opposite. So here's the full picture, start to finish. Taylor Swift married Travis Kelce inside a wedding built like a vault, sealed with tarps, curtains, no phone rules, and non-disclosure agreements. A few guests still cracked that vault, from a CEO who deleted his tour of the interior, to the trainers who posted the first look, to a director and a singer who shared their pieces. Around all of it swirled a storm of drama, from the frozen-out godmother Blake Lively to the surprise return of Karlie Kloss, that made the world desperate for any detail it could grab. And into that storm walked Patrick Mahomes, the biggest name of them all, who posted 2 photos of himself and his wife and a single white heart, and got crowned the leaker for it. He was not the leaker. He was the friend who showed up, celebrated, respected the rules, and shared only what was his to share. The facts say he did the one thing almost nobody expected from the loudest guest in the room. He kept the secret, found this information exciting and unbelievable. Be sure to check out other similar and amazing videos on the screen. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you in the next video.